How's it going, everybody? So this is an album I was looking forward to reviewing, and glad to see Lynch is back, especially after what happened. Was it a year ago? Wow, have Lynch not made music in a year? Shit, I haven't thought about that, actually. I didn't think about that before I pressed record and sidetracked myself. Anyway, also, real quick, before I get into this Lynch Sinners review, I know I did a review on Aldius's album that's like almost a year old in Japan, but this recently came out. And then they created an actual new album for both US and Japan and Europe. Ultimate, hold on. I think it's Ultimate Diffusion, something along those lines. Hold on. Where is it? Anyway, Unlimited Diffusion. Boom, got it. Okay, so real quick, good album. I think it's just as good as Radiant A. I didn't like it any more or any less. I thought it was a damn good, solid rock album, and I give that the same score I gave Radiant A. Anyway, it's not about that. I just want to get that out of the way. I know it's been out for a few weeks, and I didn't cover it. And a part of me is like, I should talk about that. And then a part of me is like, I'm just doing other stuff, and so I just forgot. Sorry. So getting that out of the way, back to Lynch, Sinners EP. Thankfully, right off the bat, good news, can buy it on Amazon. Although I was a little angry when I first went on Amazon. I was like, all right, let me buy it. And by the way, I just bought this like an hour ago and just listened to the whole thing. So the first thing that popped up when I typed in Lynch Sinners was a $30-something like physical CD actually sold by Amazon. And I was like, okay. There was no like MP3 option. So I backed out of that, scrolled down a little bit more, and then like I saw a $28, I think, dollar version of the CD, and I saw that the $31 or the $32 or whatever version had two CDs. So I'm assuming it does what a lot of the Japanese artists do, where the second CD is a DVD of some music videos, behind the scenes stuff. It's 6 songs. It's 6 fucking songs. And by the way, the first one is an instrumental. Don't count that as a song. It's 2 minutes of music, but not really music. You get some heavy guitar riffs and drums. I didn't listen with headphones on. I don't think there was bass for obvious reasons, which I'll talk about in a second, and why this album is kind of a big deal. But yeah, really? Like, it angers me. It doesn't anger me. It's just disappointing. And, like, I'm not stupid. I know why it's that much. For a mini album, even with or without the CDs, it's a bit much. And the obvious reason, even though it's Amazon themselves selling it, it's because of shipping. It's because of importing. It sucks that there isn't a company in America, and I guess the money can't be there, but it sucks that a company in America doesn't get, like, rights and, like, I don't know. Like, I understand importing is, like, a very expensive thing. And it's always more expensive than the actual CDs themselves and the DVDs themselves. So it would be great if there was a company in America that's like, okay, we deal with Japanese or just Asian music. Korean and Japanese, it's getting more popular here in America. It's like, okay, we deal with that. We deal with the publishers directly. They give us the rights. They send after the music is done, and they're getting ready to ship it out on stores in Japan. They ship us file formats on our computer, and we distribute it ourselves to American audiences. Hence, we pay the same price for the albums that the Japanese do. I know there are a lot of complications, legal stuff, and it'd be nice if that existed, is what I'm saying. So I think it's a bit fucking ridiculous that this mini album is... Sorry, I saw the spike right there. I'm sure that was incredibly loud. Over $30? Over $30, really? Anyway, thankfully, you scroll down a little bit more, and then you'll see the $5.99 MP3 version. And that's what you want to buy. And I can honestly say, I think this is worth it's definitely worth $6. It's definitely worth a buy. It's definitely worth a listen. And now we'll get into why this album matters, other than, being a Lynch fan and its new Lynch music. So this album was released sometime last year, I believe, and or not released, but like the information was released. And why this album is a big deal is because, sadly, their bassist got arrested last year for, I believe, drunk driving. And I think a day later, if that, I'm pretty sure it was like a day or two later after that information got released, well, he was let go by the band. So there's a lot of... anyone who loves Japanese music and has kind of done some research on it, they have a system. It doesn't... if you listen to Japanese music for a few years, you start to notice some patterns, like new bands are constantly coming in while some bands constantly go away, and every time someone fucks up in some way in their personal life, they always seem to be gone from the band. Doesn't matter what position they are in the band, they always seem to be, you're done. I've read an article. There's an infamous article where a Visual Kei producer talks about how the Yakuza are involved with some companies, and how they have a system of how they have different companies that have different musicians under them. And it's an interesting article. I'll highly read it. So anyway, I understand there's a tight system to how Japanese make music, and it just sucks because he was a really good bassist. I think I've said this before when I've reviewed one of the other Lynch albums. My favorite song by Lynch is Greed. It is an amazing song, and the last 15-20 seconds of that song is one of the best bass solos I've ever heard. I hear that and I'm like, how does a human do this? As a bassist, it inspires me to be like, I want to do that. I haven't found any Tab. If I find Tab, I would dedicate a crap ton of my time to learning that. And I've seen one of their live DVDs, and he does it. He does that. It blows my mind. It's an amazing bass solo. So it sucks that he's gone. So with this album, the 5 songs, I hate instrumentals. I'm sorry. Whether it's an intro and an outro, it's just like, that doesn't count. I've said numerous times, my music, it's like I download it, I listen to it, and I'm like, I'm taking this song, and this song, but I'm leaving out this song, and that song. It's like, the songs I'm taking, I'm putting on my MP3 player, and I'm listening to that in the car while I drive all the time. The other songs are, it's like, there's a reason or two why I didn't like you, so sorry. So yeah, so I got to talk about each song individually here. It's hard to talk about this mini album as like a whole thing, because it's definitely different. And I know I just went on a forum to people talking about this album like a year ago, and a lot of Lynch fans are like, their music sounds the same, they're getting a little bored. Honestly, it's a little bit like what Disturbed in America go through. Your music sounds the same, we're getting a little bored. I don't feel that way. I feel like with Lynch and with Disturbed, you're getting a safe bet. You can say their music sounds the same, but then Linkin Park comes out with a pop album. So, you gotta find a good balance, and I don't know. I feel like this album, it's gonna please a lot of people. I actually, now that I think about it, now that I really think about it after listening to all the songs, you can't really be disappointed with this. I was about to be, and I'll explain why when I get to talk about some songs. But then after I listened to the last song, thinking back, it's like, actually, this wasn't a bad album at all. And anyway, let's get into it. And the reason being, the bassist is gone. So they took the 5 songs, and each song has a different bassist. And these, so I just, real quick, let me go through the song tracks. And who's the bassist in those tracks. I have a website pulled up here, so thank you, J-Rock News. Okay, so starting off from first to last, it starts off with Jay from the legendary Luna Sea, which, if you listen to Japanese rock, you probably know who they are and were and all that stuff. So, one of those bands that I never really listened to them, but It's like Lunacy and X Japan. If you know J-Rock, you've at least heard of those bands' names before. So they're kind of the pioneers, back in the day. But that's cool that they got him. And he's the first track who will lend his bass lines to Trigger. Okay, so before I'll just talk about who's in the song, and then what's the song title, and then I'm going to give my opinion on it. So, this song, it's good. It's actually good. At first I listened to it, I was like, okay, where are they going with this? It's not a heavy song at all, but it's also kind of sort of a heavy song. It's just, there's no, there's not, Hazuki doesn't do that. There's no growling, no screaming. It's a consistently, harder rock song, but not metal. It's definitely not metal, and then Hazuki is singing throughout the whole song. Good melodies. It's a good hard rock melodic song. Can't really say anything bad about it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, I didn't listen to a lot of Lunacy, but that's kind of what Lunacy was right. That's what they were like, right? I feel like I've heard some Lunacy songs before, and it's like, even though they were hard rock, they weren't metal per se, right? So please feel free in the comments to, there's only one bassist in this whole thing that I know from their bands, and that's the last one. And I gotta say, as a fan of that band, they definitely nailed that song with that bassist. But also, real quick before I get off Trigger, I gotta appreciate how towards the end of the song, there's actually a bass solo. So I like that. It's like, hey, we're featuring you on the song. Feel free to take it away for a little bit. It's a short bass solo. It's, nothing major, but it's cool that it's there. It's cool that they let him do his own little thing on their song, on their album. So I really appreciate that. And maybe that's just them kind of giving a nod to one of the the legends. So it makes sense. Maybe out of respect they let him have it, or who knows if he requested it. Who knows if who knows. But it's cool that they did that. Okay, so the next song, followed by Hitoki off of former Kurome, currently in Creature. And this is my favorite song. This fucking song is straight up Lynch right here. It's a Blackout Destroy, and with the just real quick, I'm gonna, before copyright strikes me down, this is how the song just starts off. Yeah. So it has the Hazuki. Yeah. I fucking love when they do that. Just have Hazuki just a quick and a guitar riff, Hazuki do the yeah, and then drums just hammering it away. I fucking love that. I don't care if other Lynch fans are getting a little tired of it. I will always headbang to that shit and turn that shit up when I'm in my car. Thank you. Easily my favorite song, and in my opinion, the best song in this whole album. Then again, that's that Lynch sound I love. Now what you could say, if you want an energetic, kick-ass song, this is it. Again, I don't know who Hitoki is. I don't know the music that he's created, but I don't know if this is the style that it must be somewhat what he's familiar with, but fuck yes. Ugh. Okay, next song. Actually, what the hell? Why do you have it written like that, J-Rock Centers? You have it instead of the S's, they put dollar signs. Maybe that's how he had it. But next is Tsuyoshi of the disbanded Pay Money to My Pain, and he's illustrating his talents in Kaleido. If I want to pronounce it the Japanese spelling, Kaleido. Okay. Here's the thing. It's not a bad song. But obviously you could tell I'm straining here and I'm holding back. And the reason being is because after that amazing, kick-ass, energetic, fucking badass song, you go into a ballad. Okay. this one's definitely a lot less. Alright, there's not a lot of energy in this song. And it really brings the mood down. Really brings it down. And it's like, as soon as this started, I can immediately tell what kind of song this was gonna be. It's like, oh, we're not getting any double bass drums, no guitar riffs, and it's gonna be all singing. And I don't mind that. But for fuck's sakes, to come off, like to immediately place that to this other song that's so incredibly badass. Oh, I literally was like, oh, come on. Like, that was my initial reaction. However, if I didn't listen to the song before it, I would have been like, alright, this is actually a good song. And the chorus is really good. It's a chorus that's like, okay, alright, it's a good melodic song with a good chorus, and Hazuki, he has a good singing voice, so it helps. Like, the bands know what they're doing. It's just to come off of Blackout Destroy. Really? I feel like this song should have either been the first song or it should have been the second song. Then the third song should have been Blackout Destroy. Actually, no. No, actually, I'll say what I feel like this album, how it should have been, after I talk about all the songs. So let's get to the next song. This one's going to be a little bit... this one's going to be hard for me to pronounce, so please stay with me on this one. Yoshihiro Yasui of Outrage. Again, haven't heard of him, haven't heard of Outrage. And this is the tricky part, so I'm going to pronounce it in its Japanese vocabulary. So, dies ere, or dies arai, like arai. So, dies ere would be the Japanese way of pronouncing it. I don't know what that means. However, we have another kick-ass song here. So it's kind of weird that Blackout Destroy is like this amazing fuck yeah song. Then Kaleido's like, okay, alright, I guess we're gonna calm down a bit. I guess we're gonna, like, soothing. Alright, it's cool. And then Dies Irae starts, it's like, oh, we're bringing it up again? Okay. But this isn't a typical Lynch high-energy metal song. It's actually, immediately when I heard this and I heard how it starts, it's like, oh, it's kind of like Metallica. And I'm not going to lie, I've never been a fan of Metallica, and I guess being an American who loves metal, I should be. And like, no, I never really... They kind of pull off a Metallica sound here. Probably get away with playing a few seconds. So it starts off with like a slow, heavy breakdown. Very Metallica-ish. But then, hold on. Then we get faster. So that's just all I'll play. So it kind of starts off with a heavy, slow, like breakdown. It's like, oh shit, we're getting our energy back. And it's like, okay, heavy screeching guitar, and then... So I like this song a lot. It reminds me a lot of Metallica. It's something new for Lynch. It's a kind of like a new style for them to be heavy. I like it. It has different like sounding parts to it. So, but then again, here we go. And so this is the last song. And this was the song I was actually looking forward to the most because I like this bassist. I like the band he's in. I'm a big fan of both. And on one hand, I'm disappointed, but at the other hand, being a fan of this band, it sounds a lot like that band. And so it's like, okay, like, I like the song, but again, you're bringing the energy down, because the next song has UK of Muck. Muck is a great fucking band. The name of the song is called Sorrow. If you're a Muck fan, if you know who Muck are, you know they can't really be classified. They can't be, like, defined into a genre. They've covered all genres of rock. They have done metal, they have done ska, they have done alternative, they have done, like, any kind of rock you can think of, any form of rock and roll that you can think of. Hell, even in one song they put a fucking harmonica as in the breakdown. There's no I can't say there's no other band like Muck in the world, but there's definitely very few of them out there like Muck. I'm not going to say they're the, like, I feel like that's incredibly ignorant of me to say. There's just very few bands out there like Muck that can't be as like, sorry, I couldn't tell you what kind of band they are. They literally cover everything. I'm more of a fan of their harder stuff, and they have a lot of hard stuff out there. But this is definitely one of those like laid back Muck songs. And that has a big following. There's nothing wrong about it. It's definitely, and UK, should say. I'm speaking really fast here, sorry. UK has a very, he can play heavy, and then like when it's time to be like more melodic and calm, he can, provide a really good like bass line in the background, and he does in this song. It's a very Muck sounding song. So being a Muck fan, I can't be like, I like it. It's just, again, going back to my original point here, out of place. You're going to end the album like that? So here's what I think could make this album a really, like, good album that anybody could appreciate. So, starting it off with, let me bring up the track list here. If you really need the instrumental, okay, I don't get it. I guess for anything, if you're gonna tour, I know this is what the Gazette do. I know this is what a lot of other Japanese bands do. Is, our instrumental intro track is what is going to be playing as we're coming out on stage when we tour. Okay, fine. I'm just not gonna listen to that shit when I'm driving in the car listening to this album. I'm just gonna leave this on my computer and not listen to that. So, okay, I understand that. If you need that, whatever. If people out there actually like intros and outros, I don't speak for everybody, but whatever. If you want to leave that in. Okay, start it off with Trigger if you'd like. I think it might be... Oh, alright. Maybe I'd start it off with Sorrow or Kaleido first. Actually, I would. I would start it off with Kaleido. The softest track on the album, hands down. I'd start it off with that. Then I'd put Sorrow with UK in it. And then I'd put Trigger. Because what I'm doing here is, I think this album would be best starting soft to heaviest. So I think it should be, Kaleido, then I'd say Sorrow, then Trigger, then Dies Irae, then Blackout Destroy. I feel like if this album ended with Blackout Destroy, that amazing, badass, kick-ass track, I would have left the album like, I fucking want more. Make a full album. This is a great idea. I hope you guys find a, full-time bassist. Otherwise, it's going to be really difficult for you guys in the future. And usually when bands lose a member shortly thereafter, in Japan, they disband. And I don't want Lynch to disband. I already lost Screw and Gilgamesh last year. Death Gaze, where are you? I know the lead singer, is doing his own thing, and he actually just joined another band, and Death Gaze is still on hiatus, so it's like, where are you guys? Miss ya. So it's like, I don't want Lynch to be the next one. I really don't. Screw and Gilgamesh was devastating. I couldn't believe it. But Screw lost they lost their bassist. Yeah. Anyway, as it stands now, thankfully, you can get this MP3 album, $5.99 on Amazon. I'm sure you can get it on iTunes too, if that's your preferred way of doing it. As it stands, with its current tracks being the way they are, I would say this is a 7 out of 10. Mainly because I feel like the track listing is really what messes up this album, what could have been a great album. And I feel like you're kind of bringing the fans up and down here with the energy. I feel like if you ended it hard, you'll leave in like an itch. You'll leave like, when are you guys making this a full 12-track album, And I feel like ending it with Sorrow and putting Kaleido in the middle of two of like your hardest songs, it's weird. It's a weird listing. I don't know if Lynch had something to do with that or if that was the producers, but it's weird. However, if they were to do what I think should have been done, start off soft, then bring it down, end with hard, I think easily it's like an 8 or a 9. It's in between that 8.5 or 9. It's a good album. It's a mini album, so not much can be said for that. Yeah. So that's my opinion on it. Give it a listen. Let me know what you think. And so yeah, I've been going on long enough. I don't really have much to say. I don't know what else is coming out, but as soon as the next my favorite Japanese band makes an album, I'll come back and gives my opinions on it. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Bye.